When most people think of Arizona, they picture one thing: the Grand Canyon. But beyond the crowds and postcards lies a different Arizona. Older, wilder, and largely unknown. Here, volcanic plains stretch farther than sound. Slot canyons twist in silence beneath the surface. Forests of stone stand where ancient rivers once ran. And in the high desert, sacred sites whisper stories older than time. This isn't the Arizona of highways and overlooks. This is the version that hides from the sun and waits for those who look twice. Arizona is a land defined by depth, not just in its canyons, but in its past. For thousands of years, people have carved homes into cliffs, etched stories into rock, and built cities now claimed by dust. Yet the land remains alive, with wind, lava, and earth always shifting. In this journey, we'll skip the obvious and travel instead through volcanic fields, petrified forests, desert mountains, and valleys where no road dares go. This is a side of Arizona few will ever see, but for those who do, it never leaves them. This is Unseen Arizona. Just north of Flagstaff lies a scar on the landscape, black, jagged, and eerily silent. This is Sunset Crater Volcano, the youngest volcano in Arizona, born from a violent eruption less than 1,000 years ago. The explosion reshaped the surrounding land. Lava flows now stretch like frozen rivers. Cinder dunes rise like dark waves, and within the ash, life slowly returns. Twisted pines, bright lichens, and stubborn flowers growing where nothing should. The crater itself is closed to protect its fragile surface, but nearby trails wind through the flow fields, offering a glimpse of the earth in mid-transformation. To the east, older volcanoes sleep beneath forests. To the west, the ground still carries heat. But here, at Sunset Crater, you can stand where Arizona last erupted and still feel the breath of the fire below. If you're already feeling the depth of what's unseen, subscribe to Era Trails and keep discovering what the surface doesn't show. Just beyond the lava fields of Sunset Crater, the desert flattens into a red plain scattered with ruins. Wupatki, once home to thousands, now preserved in wind and memory. These ancient pueblos were built by the ancestral Puebloans, who thrived here after the Sunset Crater eruption enriched the soil. The largest structure, Wupatki Pueblo, has over 100 rooms, ball courts, and ceremonial spaces, all made of flat sandstone stacked with quiet precision. Wupatki wasn't isolated, it was a crossroads. Pottery shards from as far as Mexico and California have been found here, proof that trade, story, and spirit passed through long before Arizona was ever drawn on a map. Today, the walls glow red at sunset, the winds echo through empty doorways, and the land feels as if it's still listening. Wupatki is more than a ruin. It's a memory the desert refuses to erase. In Arizona's high desert, where color streaks the badlands and time seems to erode everything, lies a forest that never rotted. This is Petrified Forest National Park, where ancient trees, buried by volcanic ash over 200 million years ago, have turned into quartz. The logs look split and cracked like firewood, but they're stone, iridescent with reds, purples, and crystalline blues. These were once towering conifers, now shattered across the desert floor, each piece a fossilized memory of the Triassic era. But there's more here than stone trees. The painted desert shimmers to the north, its soft hills striped with pink, lavender, and ash gray. Petroglyphs mark basalt boulders in the Puerco Pueblo, and badlands stretch out where dinosaurs once walked. It's a place where Arizona doesn't just preserve history, it becomes it. In Arizona's high plateau, the land is flat, open, and silent, until it suddenly collapses into a vast circle of stone. Nearly a mile wide and over 550 feet deep, this is Meteor Crater, the result of an asteroid striking Earth some 50,000 years ago. It is the best preserved impact crater on Earth, a cosmic wound untouched by erosion, where layers of Earth were blasted outward in seconds. Standing at the rim, it feels like something from another world, yet it's a mark left by space here on this very ground. The impact released energy equal to 10 million tons of TNT. Today, it's still studied by scientists and astronauts. The Apollo missions even trained here, learning how to read alien landscapes on our own planet. Meteor Crater is not just a hole in the Earth. It's a reminder of how fragile and how lucky we really are. Beneath the Ponderosa forests northwest of Flagstaff lies a passage carved not by water or wind, but by fire. This is Lava River Cave, a naturally formed lava tube stretching nearly a mile underground. Created about 700,000 years ago by a volcanic eruption, the outer layer of a molten river cooled and hardened, while the inner lava kept flowing, leaving behind a hollow, pitch-black tunnel. Stepping inside, the air cools sharply. The walls are rough, ribbed with frozen flow marks. Light disappears quickly, and silence takes over. You're walking inside the skeleton of an eruption, a frozen river of stone. There's no lighting, no guides, just flashlights, echoing footsteps, and a growing respect for how deeply the Earth holds its history. Lava River Cave isn't easy, but it's unforgettable, a reminder that the real wonders often hide in darkness. In Arizona's far southeast corner, where desert meets sky, stands a hidden world of stone. Chiricahua National Monument is a maze of towering rock spires, balancing boulders, and narrow trails winding through a landscape shaped by ancient fire. These hoodoos were born from a volcanic eruption 27 million years ago. Erosion sculpted the ash and lava into what early explorers called a wonderland of rocks. Some formations stand like guardians. Others look ready to fall, frozen mid-tilt by time. This range is also part of a sky island, a unique ecological zone where desert and alpine habitats collide. In one day, you can see cacti, pine trees, coatimundi, and even jaguars if you're lucky. The Chiricahua Apache, including the legendary leader Cochise, once called these mountains home. Their spirit still feels present in the wind between the stones. Few come here, but those who do find a cathedral built not by hands, but by heat and erosion. While tourists fill the trails of the Grand Canyon, just miles away lies one of Arizona's best-kept secrets, Sycamore Canyon Wilderness, the state's second-largest canyon and one of its quietest. Stretching over 20 miles, Sycamore Canyon cuts through red rock cliffs, pine forests, and rippling desert streams. There are no paved roads, no gift shops, and no overlooks, just raw wilderness and trails that disappear into silence. The canyon walls glow with the same layered reds and golds as nearby Sedona, but here, the solitude is intact. Wild turkeys and black bears roam the washes. Hawks circle above the cliffs. In spring, sycamore trees leaf out along hidden pools, green veins in a sandstone body. It's a place for those who want the canyon experience without the noise, for those who don't just want to look at a wonder, but to walk inside it. Sycamore Canyon isn't unknown, but it's unbothered, and in Arizona, that's rare. Carved into the red rock of northeastern Arizona, Canyon de Chelly is more than a geological wonder. It's a living homeland. For over 5,000 years, people have made their homes here. Today, it remains one of the few national monuments still inhabited, cared for by the Navajo Nation. Sheer sandstone cliffs rise over 1,000 feet above green canyon floors, where cottonwoods follow the river and ancient dwellings cling to the rock. The most famous White House ruin was built by the ancestral Puebloans and still rests quietly in a cliff alcove. But this isn't a place of ruin, it's a place of continuity. Families farm the canyon floor. Horses graze below towering walls. Guides share stories passed down across generations, stories etched into the canyon as deeply as the petroglyphs that line its stone. Canyon de Chelly is sacred, storied, and still alive. A place where the walls do more than echo, they remember. Stretching across over 90,000 acres of northeast Arizona, the Painted Desert is a landscape made not of stone or sand, but of color and light. Here, the land rolls in soft hills and jagged badlands, striped in shades of lavender, rose, crimson, and ash gray. These colors come from ancient sediment layers: clay, silt, volcanic ash, each one deposited by time, then revealed by erosion like pages peeled back from the Earth's own book. Though part of it lies within Petrified Forest National Park, much of the Painted Desert is remote, roadless, and untouched. At sunrise and sunset, the light floods the land with shifting hues, and for a moment, the desert looks like it's dreaming in watercolor. This isn't a place of towering cliffs or roaring rivers. It's a place of depth without drama and beauty without noise, a wonder that reveals itself only to those who slow down. In the harsh expanse of western Arizona, down rough dirt roads and miles from pavement, lie the crumbling remains of Swansea, a copper mining town that boomed, vanished, and now fades quietly beneath the desert sun. Founded in the early 1900s, Swansea was once a hub of industry: smelters, rail lines, saloons, and over 500 residents, all drawn by the promise of copper. But by the 1930s, the boom had busted. Water was scarce, or prices dropped, people left, the town never recovered. What remains today are hollow buildings, brick kilns, rusted machinery, a crumbling post office, and an eerie silence that wraps around every corner. Desert brush has begun to reclaim the streets. Roofs have caved, and winds whistle through door frames with no doors. Swansea isn't a tourist stop. It's a time capsule, still baking under the same sun that once drew people here and now guards what's left. In a state full of ghost towns, Swansea is one of the quietest, loneliest, and most hauntingly real. In the middle of Arizona's Sonoran Desert, where cactus rule and rain rarely falls, a narrow canyon cuts deep into the earth and bursts with life. This is Aravaipa Canyon Wilderness, one of the state's most fragile and protected natural treasures. A perennial creek flows through the canyon, feeding dense cottonwoods, sycamores, and hanging gardens that grow between steep cliffs. Bighorn sheep, coatimundi, and over 200 species of birds thrive here, along with black bears and secretive mountain lions. There are no roads through Aravaipa, no trail signs. To enter, you need a permit, and you hike directly through the water, following the streambed as it winds between canyon walls that tower above you. What makes Aravaipa special isn't just the surprise of green in a red desert. It's the quiet, a silence so complete, even the sound of water feels sacred. It's one of Arizona's few true oases, and one of its best-kept secrets. A place where desert and life share the same breath. Hidden deep within the Hopi Reservation in northeastern Arizona lies one of the state's most visually stunning and least visited places, Blue Canyon. Here, towering hoodoos, striped with reds, whites, and dusty blues, rise like frozen flames from the desert floor. The formations were shaped by erosion, wind, rain, and time slowly carving away softer earth until only these sculpted spires remained. What makes Blue Canyon unique is its color palette, delicate bands of pastel stone stacked like forgotten brushstrokes in a natural cathedral. There are no visitor centers, no crowds, no tour buses. This is tribal land, and visiting often requires permission from the Hopi people, whose spiritual connection to this landscape runs deeper than the stone itself. Photographers call it a dream, locals treat it with reverence, and most travelers don't even know it exists. Blue Canyon is more than beautiful. It's sacred, surreal, and almost entirely unseen. North of Flagstaff, rising above the ponderosa forests and ancient lava fields, stands Humphreys Peak at 12,633 feet. It's the highest point in Arizona. But height isn't what gives this mountain its meaning. Spirit does. Part of the San Francisco Peaks, Humphreys is sacred to more than a dozen indigenous tribes, including the Hopi, Navajo, and Zuni. In their stories, these mountains are home to deities, origins, and winter spirits. The summit itself is a place of reverence, not conquest. The hike to the top is long and steep, passing through alpine meadows, wind-blown firs, and high tundra rarely seen in the desert southwest. On a clear day, you can see hundreds of miles in every direction. The Grand Canyon to the north, painted desert to the east, and volcanic fields below. There's no fanfare at the top, just space, wind, and sky, and the hum of something larger than sight. Humphreys Peak isn't just a summit. It's where earth, sky, and belief meet. Before the Colorado River plunges into the depths of the Grand Canyon, it threads quietly through Marble Canyon, a stark, narrow corridor of sculpted stone, high cliffs, and echoing stillness. Despite the name, there's no actual marble here. The canyon walls get their name from the smooth, polished appearance of the red rock, worn down by millennia of water and wind. They shine in late sun like burnished copper, casting reflections into the river below. Above it all stands the historic Navajo Bridge, where ravens glide effortlessly between the cliffs and visitors peer into the slow, powerful flow of the Colorado far beneath their feet. Marble Canyon is also a sacred space, bordering Navajo Nation lands, where the river has always been more than water. It is movement, spirit, and story. Fewer people stop here than at the Grand Canyon just downstream. But this is the canyon's beginning, its breath before its roar, and in many ways, it's the most intimate part of the river's journey. Arizona is known for its scale. Canyons that crack the earth open, deserts that stretch forever, sunsets that paint the horizon in fire. But its greatest wonders are the ones it doesn't announce. They're hidden in craters and caves, in red rock towers and sacred canyons. In ghost towns reclaimed by wind, in peaks whispered to by tribes, in silence, in space, and in stone. This is not the Arizona of roadside maps. This is the Arizona beneath them, raw, volcanic, carved, and alive. Where land becomes legend, and every quiet place still tells a story. If this journey opened your eyes to a version of Arizona you've never seen before, subscribe to Era Trails to keep following the forgotten, the hidden, and the overlooked. And share this with someone who still thinks Arizona ends at the edge of a canyon, because in truth, that's where it begins.